Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Friday, the 19th of January. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. First things first, from a health and safety point of view, no breakages today. Nothing got broken. Mirrors are fine. Boilers are fine. Kids' toys are fine. That did happen also earlier in the week. Smoke alarm's fine. We're all good. So yeah, hopefully we're out of that breakageness. What we aren't out of is a losing week. It has been a losing week all week so far. So we are four vids in, four lost days. That is what we've got. So we'll get to the deets of that. As far as Friday goes, if the rest of the jumps goes for Saturday, I think Friday's going to be the better opportunity. And when I say better, it's not necessarily amazing, but I think there'll be more races. There'll be more races on Friday than Saturday. So I think Friday. I think Friday. I have got to exactly a whole day's stake. It is £20 stake for Friday. 10 horses, 10 races. So that means we've got two Canadians. One is 3 legs at Wolverhampton, yes I know, and 2 at Newcastle, and then one that is a 5-horser at Dundalk. I had a little look around outside of the UK and Ireland and didn't like anything at Meydan at all, so I've left Meydan. First 2 weeks of Meydan sort of winter season's not gone well, but that wasn't necessarily what put me off. I just didn't like it. So I might wait to see till we get to more of the group class races over the winter. At the moment, it's a lot more handicaps and stuff. So left that. Did have a little rummage as well over in France on the all-weather at Deauville, which I do like looking at on Fridays. I keep mentioning it. I think it's 3 16-runner handicaps this Friday at Deauville, but nothing early prices. Nothing. It's something I'll probably go back to and have a little look. Friday tea time when the racing's on to sort of see when the markets have formed, whether but night before I wasn't feeling anything in there. So £20 is what we've got. So what do I need to do tonight? I need to review Thursday, won't take very long. Need to have a word on the golf, and we need to do Friday's bets obviously, and the tips the league update that I should have done last night, but I was slightly distracted by my broken boiler. So what did we do on Thursday? We only had 4. It wasn't very good. Reset button. I think we just went to the front a touch early, but was beaten into third after drifting to 8, which I really didn't understand, to be honest. Well, I say I didn't understand. If you just looked at that, should that horse have drifted to 8 to 1? No, it shouldn't have done. But what did happen in that race, which meant a lot of things got pushed out to bigger odds, was the favourite went massively odds on for no apparent reason, as far as I can see. It shouldn't have been that price. It shouldn't have been an odds-on favourite in that race, in my view. Favourite, I'd have had it favourite, and I'd have had it short favourite, but not odds-on. So a lot of money went down, but it didn't turn up. It turned up. It just didn't perform on the day. So we had third. Then Crazy Maisie was 4th, which paid out for Sky, AA, and Hills. But as I said on the vid last night, if that came up in the Yankee and that horse was 4th, I wasn't going to claim it for the channel, because the only Sky Bet would have been the only bookmaker where you could have got 4 and 4 on there. So yeah, small margins, but if you're Hills 888 or Sky, you'd have got a little bit back for the place double. And then that one not quite there. And so range, I mean, it drifted massively, which I wasn't worried about at all in a race like that. And it certainly ran better than the SP odds. It probably ran more like a 12 to 1 shot, to be honest. I think the SP was like 28 or 33 or something like that. Was it as high as that? It definitely drifted at that point, at some point to that. The point I saw that at 66 to 1 in the daytime. It never ran like that. But yeah, the front two were turned out to be definitely the best two. It wasn't much between that and the third and fourth were quite close, but there we go. Nothing back for the channel, nothing back for the channel, but you got a few pence back if you were Sky Hills or 888 on that one. So golf, I'll mention the golf. We've had a good start on the golf. I would say it was pretty good. I was happy with that. So in the Dubai Desert Classic, Is that what we've got? Dubai something. 4 golfers. Lee Hao Tong made a really good fast start. He is one of those ones of golfers that often appear in the channel staking plan. Him and Henny Duplessis are the two that do tend to make fast starts, and then don't always necessarily hold it up towards the end of the tournament. But currently tied for the lead. And then we've got Roman. I can never pronounce his surname. The French chap, Langasque, something like that. 4 shots, 3 shots. Maybe 3 shots from the places, and then the other 2 less good, we would say. And then in the American Express, we've got Siwoo Kim, who looks like he's going to finish round 1 in the places, and then Putnam's 2 shots back, and then Kaziri's he hit a double bogey near the end, so he's probably not looking so hot. So we've got 1 in the frame in each tournament and 1 not far off the frame in each tournament out of our seven golfers. So happy enough with that from round 1. And well done if anyone it was Devilfish said he'd taken first round leader and got a nice return on Lee Hao Tong. So well done for that. Whilst talking about other people sharing their stuff, a couple of things in the comments from yesterday's video, was it? Yes, depending on when you're watching this, but Thursday's video. Shout out, I was going to do 2 shouts. One to Derek. Well done, Derek. He said he had 62 pence left in his William Hill account, and he did a 31p each way treble, 3 horses. Didn't look until the end of the day, and he goes and wins over 100 quid off it. So well done, Derek. That's stories like that warm me cockles. As does Shozman sharing that he remarkably won the £100 prize from the Wonder Wheel on Paddy Power. Who knew that you could actually win the £100 prize on those things? I don't know if it's random or whether that's because his account is particularly losing or whatever. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't use things like that, and some would argue it's free money, but I used to look at those sort of things. It just, you generally don't get much back off them. It's not, it is free goes on things, but I kind of just, I choose not to draw attention to the accounts that I use by doing all and sundry free offers. And some people would say that doesn't make any sense because it's free money. I think if you do all of those things religiously, then I think it's more likely to flag up. I don't know. I might be wrong on that one. That's just my take on it. So I choose not to. I don't think there's the time it takes to do it versus the potential return, unless you're Shosman and you've won £100 on Wonder Wheel. Well done. I don't think it's worth the time for the pence that you get on those. Not meaning if you get a free £2 bet or something, that's fine, fair enough. I'll use that in an account, but not the kind of free wheelie spin things. I tend to not bother with them, particularly when it starts taking you off to another part of the site, and can't be dealing with that. Anyhow, so that is that, and then sorry, a bit of fluff in my mouth. Sorry, I think it's this fleecy thing I'm wearing. It attracts fluff, and now it's in my mouth. Lovely, thanks. I'll just share that for you. Right, let's get into the 2 bets we've got. So there's a few in there that I'm definitely going to give a bit of commentary on because they're unusual even by my standards, I think, and just. For those naysayers out there, it'll set them off even more, I should think. It does give me a chuckle when there's literally people who think I'm a loon, and most of you are all loons as well for just blindly following along. It's like the whole thing about the profit and loss just bypasses. It's like you're just losing money all the time, losing all these bets. Yes, but the profit and loss is in profit. That is more important than lots of winning bets. I know not everyone's going to get that, but it does give me a chuckle when. Yeah, people are like, I don't know what you're laughing at. Anyway, we are on a losing week, but we are still £26 up for the year. To hold £26, I'll have you know. Yes, we are all rich on this channel, rolling in that £26 left. And I've got £20 on Friday, so I might be walking into the weekend with a mere £6 in my pocket. But I'll still be doing it with a smile on my face. So, here is bet 1. So 3 at Wolverhampton. I know, but I was happy with what I got. 140 Wolves. You got a couple at Wolves, and I've done them in the double here. that are ones you need to forgive the last run, but you get horses that run inconsistently at Wolverhampton, and so you need to kind of bypass the fact that's a normality, that sometimes horses turn up on a day at Wolverhampton, it doesn't work for them for some reason. But 140 Chase the Dollar, I thought, yeah, forgive that last run. I think that's a nice enough price at 20s. And is it that one? Again, I remember these things, then I get stuck in my head and I'm like, is that what I meant to say? I think it's ridden by John Fahey. I think that's right. And if I'm right and it's ridden by John Fahey, he has a particularly good record with the horse. He's ridden it 4 times. I think I've seen that 4 times. 1 win, 2 seconds and a third, albeit third was a small field race, I think, off memory. So the jockey booking is an appeal on that one. It wouldn't necessarily be a jockey I would go for, but on that horse he seems to do all right. 215, I'm putting visibility in, regular on the channel. Sometimes I get it in, sometimes I miss it out, and sometimes I miss it when it does all right. It's just seeming to be still holding its form, and on a slight variety of distances, between 7 and a mile and 2, really. So, yeah, I think it's a very unlikely winner, but it seems to run its race each time at the moment, so I wanted to keep it in. Visibility at 22s. 250 Wolves, another one you want to forgive its last run. Available Angel, 16s. You can hopefully see the theme here. This is all deliberate, right? So we want to chase the dollar, visibly chasing the dollar, and then we just need some divine intervention. So I've doubled up with my Angels. But what would you know? Anyway, you've just seen behind the curtain then, haven't you? Literally, that's how I pick them. I just make a story every time with the bet. 550 Newcastle, right? Why the heck am I putting in Angelica Catalana at 100 to 1 in there? Why am I? Because I think it's worth trying. It's one of them ones that falls in the category I would be ideally betting that in the 4th and 5th place markets. I think if you're a 365, I think you can get 55s for 4th place, 33s for 5th place. I think that's what I checked when I looked beforehand. But 100 to 1, I think there's a lot of value in 100 to 1. So in that race, you have got one horse. There was three short ones, one very odds on, and then and the next second favourite, and then the third favourite. Third favourite is the only one of the 3 that has run, and has run from a ratings point of view on bare form. If you look at something like Racing Post ratings, it's run to a much better standard than anything else in there. So it's the best of the run ones. The other 2 that are short have both got nice breeding, and that's why you've got those 3. What it gives us is an opportunity then to take on a couple of unraced horses that on paper look great, but they could easily fluff their lines on debut on an all-weather track. So I'm happy to take on the front 3. So then if you take on the front 3, what have you got left? There's not much between them. Most of them have run once, and there isn't much between them. And what I like about this horse is they've run it at Newcastle before, so it ran once. It was 5th of 6th, and most people look at it 5th and 6th. 5th of 6th, it was 150 to 1. It was 12 lengths back. Didn't run very well. Not entirely true, because my wondering is, and it's hard to tell because the first 3 home there haven't run. That was the only run they've ever had. They look pretty decent, and I think even though it was a 6th runner, it probably was a fairly decent standard. So on ratings, you wouldn't give it much of a hope from what it's done. But I do think the rating mark might be a bit better. And I'm wondering if of the also of kind of outside those top 3, it is potentially the 4th best one. I think Adam Farrah's booked to ride, which is an interesting jockey bookie. And I think he's ridden 4 times for David Barron and won one of them on a nice price horse. So yeah, as I said, I think really it's a 4th, 5th play, but because it was only a 9 runner, and from a betting market structure point of view, I think it's worth trying to find something to take on the front 3 each way. So Angelica Catalana is in there, and then 615, we've taken that a few times. What would you know? 9s. So what I've tried to do, I know how clear it is on the screen. I've tried to write underneath because it's a bit complicated with how I've done the singles. 10p each way Canadian. We've then got a £1 each way single, hopefully written there, Angelica Catalana. So we've got £1 each way. It's got the best value of anything in the race. Clearly, it's got to step up and something else has got to underperform. But 100 to 1, I think that's worth trying. So we've got a £1 each way single on Angelica Catalana. We've got 50p each way singles on the top three, the Wolverhampton three. They're all 50p each ways. And a 50p win on What Would You Know at Newcastle. And then the last bit is a 30p each way double on Chase the Dollar Available Angel. Both the horses that need to bounce back from last time. It makes the total for the bet 11.30. Sky have come out just ahead, and then William Hill and 888. There's a couple of races at Wolverhampton where they are better than Sky, William Hill and 888 are better than everyone else. So significant advantage for Sky Hills and 888 on this. Then 365 and Paddy would be your joint fourth best because you'll get best priced guaranteed. That is bet one. Any questions on that or anything unclear about the staking, whatever, please shout. Okay, then bet two's me Dundalker. There's 6 interesting handicaps at Dundalk, and so I've gone for 5 and I've left one out. I left the 7:30. I really didn't like the 7:30 as a betting heat. I think the market's too open and there's too many different bits of form where you could debate in that. So I didn't like the 7:30 from a betting structure or from a form read. So sometimes betting structure looks good, but the form read I don't like, and sometimes the betting structure looks bad, but actually the form read I find something quite stand out. Didn't like 7:30, left it. So what have I got? 4 o'clock Rough Diamond. That needs to bounce back. But I think if you look at the history of the horse, it has got some level of history that says it runs first time, runs poorly, and then second time makes very, very significant progress. It comes on massively for the first run of the season. If you do look at the form though, what you will see is it looks like it's had a few troubles in 2023 because it hardly ran, and that would be putting a big question mark. But if that comes back to some level of form, that price is going to look too big come the end of the race. If it hasn't come back to the end of form, then it will look perfectly adequate, won't it? 5 o'clock, that's the most interesting decision I've made, I think, in the bet. 5 o'clock is a regular on the channel, Breha, but it is the third reserve in the race. So you need something to come out, at least one horse to come out, and you don't get that many non-runners in these handicaps at Dundalk, and then you need something to go in. There are 3 reserves, so the first 2 would need to turn down the opportunity to go in before that one. Why have I put it in? Because often what you find is when horses are reserves for races, they get overlooked in the betting market by most people, and you can get a little bit of value on it. So it's risky putting it in the night before, but the tactical decision I made was, if I didn't put it in, I wasn't going to put anything else in that race. So there wasn't anything else I liked. So it would have been a 20p each way Yankee. Doing it this way and putting it in as a Canadian, it means if it is a non-runner, the Canadian turns into a 20p each way Yankee with additional equivalent 10p each way singles on those 4. And I was happy that worth the risk on that one, because if I had an alternative, then I would have done it different. But I didn't, and I think there's a huge value in Breha at 25s. So the chances of it running are pretty slim, and if by the time you're watching this it's like 11 o'clock and reserves are out anyway, you'll know whether to put this on as a Yankee by then. But I'm happy to put this on the night before, on the basis I'm doing it in the Canadian. If I only had it as a Yankee and I thought there was a risky one like that, I would have not put it in. Hopefully that makes sense. 6 o'clock Dromontine 13 to 2, 6:30 Pierre Lapin at 7s, and then finishing 7 o'clock Halcyon Spirit 18s. 10p each way Canadian, 50p each way singles on Rough Diamond, Breha and a Halcyon Spirit, and then a 25p each way double on Rough Diamond and Halcyon Spirit. 870 is the bet. Sky Best 365 and Paddy's second best. Sky are 5 on a couple, I think. Then everyone else is basically 4, with the exception of, I would avoid Betfair, Coral, Ladbrokes for this. But you bet Freds, your Hills, your 8H, Betway, Unibet, you're fine with. And yeah, if Breha comes out, then you can convert the bet to a Yankee. Anyone who's putting it on like this, you'll get your £1 refund for the single, and then you'll have a little bit extra going on to singles on those. That's how it works out. If you're putting this on after that, after the reserves have come out, if that's what's happening, then you can just do it as a 20p each way Yankee. All right, that is that. Okay. What did I need to find? Tips the league stuff. Hold on. Bear with me, caller. All right, so Tips the League from last Saturday. It feels like a while ago now because we've had that many videos unusually for this week. But there was clear joint winners. My horse of the day was also Des and Shosman's horse of the day, who both went very bravely. 10-point win, 330 points to the good they have got. So they were joint winners, 330. Amazing. That's the kind of stuff there hasn't been in the history of doing the Tips the League stuff. Very many big prices coming in. I seem to remember Gin and Tonic at 28s. There hasn't been very many, and I think JJ Riley. I mean, Stephen, if you're watching, you'll probably know better than me because he's got a remarkable amount of stats on it. But I don't think there's been a horse as big as 33-1 win on a Saturday ITV race since I started the Tips the League, which then just goes to show like the last year was it? I think I've managed to get 50-1 winners in each of the last 2 years on a Saturday on the channel. They're hard to come by. They don't happen. They don't grow on trees. So yeah, well done to Des and Shosman. Particularly Shosman. I mean, week before, my memory says, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you went 10 points all in on a slightly odds-on favourite that lost. So very different tactics. All on an odds-on favourite, and then on a 33. If I've done yourself a disservice, Shosman, please feel to correct me. But yeah, that was my memory. Anywho, we've got then third place last week, Nicholas Hambley on 80. We had joint fourth, John P, 3,500, 73.20, along with Mark Dash, 73.20. And then we had Dominic Carver 6th with 35, Ian Burrows 33, Eugene Rooney 31.60, Chancer on 30, and Adam Esat 26.60, the only person to be in top 10 both weeks of 2024 Tips the League. What does that do? I mean, should have done the figures at the top. There were 77 entries. I think that might be a maximum. Again, Stephen, feel free to correct me if I got that wrong. I think 77 is the most we've had. 18 made profit was 23%. A whopping 70% lost everything at the weekend. So overall, Des is number one. So Des was in and around it last year, and he is back into number one spot, £323.40. Shosman is sitting second with 320. Then we get to Scott Harvey, Mike Fletcher, Nicholas Hambley, John P, 3,500. Mark Dash, Adam Esat, Stephen Taylor, and joint 10th, Account RH and Gordon Ford. That is the current top overall 10. That makes English work. All the words are in the wrong order, aren't they now? I've definitely, it's the tired dyslexia goes in, the verbal dyslexia comes out, and the words don't match my brain. Yeah, that's where we are after 2 weeks. We'll have to see what Tips the League looks like this weekend. As I think I read somewhere the plan is if all the jumps racing got cancelled, ITV Racing might broadcast 4 races from Wolverhampton. So that will separate the true tipsters from the not. Shoving some Wolverhampton stuff, it's gonna confuse everybody. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the forecast. I think it looks like we might lose all the meetings on the weekend. So not the weekend. Certainly on Saturday, it looks like, unless there are at Navan. I think that might be the exception. But yeah, we'll probably know. We'll probably know by this time tomorrow night. As far as Saturday's selections go and the vid time, if we are down to a few meetings, I probably will work on the basis I'll get the vid out Friday night again. As long as it's clear what racing's on, I probably will be a Friday night vid, but I'm expecting it to be less than a day's stake because of the abandonments and whatnot. So to sort of complete our quiet week. But yeah, week 1 of this year, we're getting hammered, and then one on the last day to basically break even week 1. Week 2, we had a great week. Generally speaking, we had a lot of profitable days. And then week 3 this week has not gone well, albeit I haven't been putting out loads of stake. So we are, 31 down. So it's not irretrievable. And we're still ahead for the year. But clearly we'd all like to have some sort of more exciting day, Friday or Saturday, because there's not been much to cheer about. So let's hope we can chase the dollars visibly with our 2 angels. That's what we're going to try and do. Okay, I will see you most probably Friday night. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Bye bye.